What is up, YouTube? This is Apex27. Today's going to be a little unstructured commentary where I just talk about some things from the DLC that I wasn't crazy about. Mainly the Sword of Damnation, but also a couple other things. Those who stay after this first clip will get to see a sneak peek at my new build that I've been working on. Also, after this first clip, the other clips are just clips that I got on my first outing with the new build. So they're not the most quality clips. This first clip, though, is, I think, one of my most satisfying invasions. And as you can see here, these gankers, I think both of them, but at least this guy that I'm fighting, is spamming the Sword of Damnation weapon art. So I guess I'll go ahead and start talking about this sword. So in my last video, the Pure Madness Matting Hand video, I mentioned that all throughout the beginning of Elden Ring's release, you know, I wanted to make a druid character, and I found the madness spells and pursued the frenzied flame. And I was excited to make a crazed, mad, frenzied druid and have a cool weapon, hopefully, at some point in the game that gave me madness buildup, especially after finding Vike's Greatspear, which, you know, is a cool weapon, I guess, but at the end of the day, it's just a Greatspear. The Ash of War is the only unique thing about it. And honestly, that's a little bit too strong and a little bit too brain dead of a weapon for me to want to use. Not that, you know, anyone who uses it is brain dead. Not trying to offend anybody there, but I personally just desire a little bit more challenge and a little bit more thought process when it comes to my weapons and my builds overall. You know, I was disappointed to find out that Vike's Greatspear was the only madness weapon. Then the DLC trailer comes out, and even Saint Riot is talking about how the spike in Midra's neck, who we didn't know was Midra at the time, looked like some kind of frenzy weapon, and he was hoping for a frenzy katana. I personally was hoping for a frenzy straight sword or even a curved sword. Hadn't even considered that light greatswords were going to be a thing. And then the DLC comes out, and I fight Rolana and find out about, you know, the light greatswords with Milady and her combo greatswords. You know, I get excited when I find Midra. First of all, before we even get to Midra, we've got the Matting Hand weapon. That excited me more. I was like, okay, this is probably not going to be a great weapon. I was wrong. But at the time, I thought it wasn't going to be a great weapon. And then we found the perfume bottles. I also thought those weren't going to be great. I'm still kind of, I think I'm right about those. They're not horrible, but they're not great. And then finally we find Midra. He pulls out the shard in his neck, and out comes this elegant long sword with, you know, the spikes wrapping around it. The way that Midra waves it around, it looks like it's a light greatsword, and it probably does madness build up. Oh my god. My dream weapon. This is perfect. I could definitely see my mad druid having picked up a light greatsword, and he's weaving it around, similar to Midra, with that like elegant, crazed feel, you know? I beat Midra. I sprint to the handmaiden to try and get the weapon, because I know I'm going to get the weapon. There's no way we're not getting the weapon from the remembrance. And it's a regular greatsword. It only does holy damage. It doesn't do frenzied buildup. I am actually depressed about that. I told my cousin, who also plays Souls games and was also excited about this type of thing, how devastated I was. Wow. You know, this was near the end of the DLC. I waited until, I think, after I found and maybe even beat Messmer to go back to Midra because I thought Midra was going to be ridiculously hard. So wow, I'm probably not going to get another shot at a good Menace weapon. This is probably it. It's probably just those fist weapons and the perfume bottles. And that new spell that's not even very good. Luckily, I was wrong. The Matting Hands are pretty good. I'm not crazy about the moveset, but they're still pretty good, and they fit. I mean, what's crazier about a dude just coming at you ready to run the ones with his bare hands? So therein lies the problem, is that not only was this not a frenzy weapon, it wasn't a light greatsword, it's just a regular greatsword. But the worst part is that now it's a ganker tool. It's a ganker tool. Every gank squad has a pocket Sword of Damnation, or like the first clip that you saw, it's the main weapon they're using. And they're spamming it. It grabs you out of iframes. The sword and its weapon art, its Ash of War, grabs you out of iframes. If you aren't like the most perfect timing, or if you're doing anything that requires you to not be rolling when it happens, like from off screen or something, and then it takes like 70 or 80% of your health when you get hit by it. And if you don't get hit by it, you can still get hit by the follow-up if you're not careful. They get the free follow-up that also does a lot of damage and throws you into the air and knocks you prone. It's ridiculous. Maybe the worst case scenario for this weapon ever. And on top of that, I'm running out of time. I actually didn't expect myself to talk for nearly 10 minutes about this specific weapon. But I was going to say that I think the Velvet Sword of St. Trina, that's a straight sword, also could have been a light greatsword. We got a new weapon type. Why not overflow the new weapon type, probably the best weapon type, or the coolest one at least, the most interesting one. Why not overflow that with brand new weapons? Instead of just making another greatsword, which is just a copy of the one that already exists. There's already a St. Trina sword, straight sword. And that moveset is extremely uninteresting. And if you dual wield them, it's easy mode. In my opinion, dual straight swords is probably the most effective and efficient dual wield power stance weapon you can have. Because every other one is a instant parry, in my opinion. I can easy parry every other power stance, but straight swords are the ones that I have a problem consistently parrying. And you can sleep people with that already. And apparently the base game version sleep is better than the DLC sleep as well. So you're making the most redundant sword of all time with Velvet Sword of St. Trina. And then finally, also, the Fire Knight Greatsword. The Fire Knights fight in this elegant style, just like Midra does. It implies that their sword is probably going to be a light greatsword. But no, it's also a regular greatsword. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate that big giant sword sitting on my shoulder. A lot of y'all probably like that, but that looks so weird to me. I don't like big weapons like that. The light greatswords were perfect. And it's just sad that we didn't get at least those two extra ones that easily could have been, and were even implied. The Midra sword and the flame sword were implied to be light greatswords, in my opinion. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think about that. I've got more to talk about, but I realized that the video is running short, and my main thing was the Sword of Damnation. So, yeah, this has been Apex 27. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying to the end here. And I look forward to finalizing this new Druid build that I have here on screen and making a video with that. So, once again, this has been Apex 27. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and adios for now. I don't know where the hell I am, though. Okay. Oh, this is them right here. Yep, this is literally them. Damn. Did you both die?